I've just finished my first year of study at the University of St Andrews, Scotland's first university, and in 2013 to be celebrating its 600-year anniversary. It's a university steeped in tradition, an example being this lovely gown that I'm sporting at the moment. How many of you, by show of hands quickly, went to uni? Cool, good number, I like you already. Over the last year I've been studying biology, along with astrophysics, film studies and philosophy. Although please don't judge me too quickly on the film studies. I realise it has a very bad reputation for being a DOS subject, but I felt kind of ignorant and guilty just slagging it off with everybody else. So I took it on a whim. But now, having taken it, I can safely say that its bad reputation is entirely well-founded. I have never come across a bigger load of self-justifying, unnecessary bollocks in all of my entire academic career. Although, despite that, lectures in general, even in subjects that I supposedly enjoy, have been kind of difficult. Apart from them being the worst way of educating anyone about anything, there's been this general feel that they're kind of getting in the way. So if you're not at uni for the academia, why bother going at all? I do genuinely believe that a lot of people nowadays do just go to uni as an excuse to party. This attitude isn't so strong in St Andrews compared to, say, Leeds, which is the big party uni of today. But all across the country, we have this weird drink-to-be-drunk culture. And that's kind of lost on me. When someone comes up to me and they say, "Andy, best night of my life last night. I was so drunk, not a clue what happened to me. Mental." How do you know it was the best night of your life then? Because odds are, if you look at what they did last night, they had a pretty horrible night, and so did their group of closest friends who got the privilege of looking after them. But I am in Scotland, a nation famed for alcoholism and obesity and casual violence, often all at the same time. But in this setting, I have got quite used to a really thick Scottish accent, which can just be some garbled mix of verbs and obscenity. But drinking does aid with meeting people, because people love to drink. It's an icebreaker, it makes things easier. And I've found a great thing about meeting many people at the same time is you can surround yourself with the opposite sex. Or the same sex, if that's the road you want to go down. But point being, you get people to loosen up. And people will definitely loosen up if they're in fancy dress. Over the last year, I have been a bandit, a Mexican, a scarily convincing woman. Woody the Cowboy, a schoolboy, Tommy Cooper, a manta ray. All, frankly, awesome costumes. But it's the people that I've met in these kind of weird mental party-ish atmospheres where if you can, chase them down, find out what makes them tick, get into their lives and get to know them with the absence of alcohol, it's so much more worthwhile. And it's the people that I've met in the last year that have become the most important part of my life at uni. This is my housemate, Phil. He's a typical student and as such, has no money. It's not his fault though, because all of his student loans and overdrafts have this horrible obligation for him to spend them. There he is at a party wearing his £50 furry thing from Topshop and holding his £600 guitar. But one of the things that Phil has taught me about meeting people is don't be a gap year. Because yes, some lucky people get to go and do these amazing gap years and people who weren't there generally don't care. I had an awesome gap year. I worked as a cowboy in Canada. I toured the streets of Hong Kong and rode a wild Mongolian pony across the Gobi Desert. But I can't dominate the conversation with this. What I'm really saying is don't be too self-obsessed. Talk about other people for a while and you'll be fine. So I will. This is my academic family. On the left there, my academic dad Kenneth, mum Pippa and sister Kirsty. This is a St Andrews tradition that when you start in the first year, you're adopted by 2 third-year parents. And then the families just balloon and mushroom out with the generations, making it such a fantastic way of meeting new people. And my academic dad, being a bit of a stallion that he is, has 6 academic children with 5 of these women, all of whom live together. It's all right, because polygamy is pretty much encouraged just after incest. My family is so much fun. This is most of them. My academic aunt, Fiona here, is in a very committed relationship with my academic grandmother, Fiona. But the point of these families is to help you, guide you, and then of course, when necessary, supply you with copious amounts of alcohol, like at Raisin. Raisin being one of St Andrew's biggest traditions. It starts off on Raisin Sunday in November with a party at your mum's, then your dad's house, before they wake you up bright and early Raisin Monday morning, force you into a ridiculous costume, and then all the first years traipse off down to the main quad where we have a giant foam fight that's so epic it normally makes newspapers. But as much as I love my academic family and my life at uni, I can't forget my real family. So this is my real dad Andy, my real mum Jill, and my real sister Lucy. And some people do just move off to uni and forget their real family. They hardly ever call home, and when they go home, it's only because they need sleep, laundry, or money. I think this is so sad because it's so incredibly important to remember where you've come from. And at home and at uni, I have this wall covered in pictures of my wonderful, fantastic life, featuring all the fantastic places I've been and the people I love, so that they can remind me exactly where I've come from. And with any luck, give me a little idea of where I think I want to go. So, where is all this leading me? I have another 3 years left on my course, which doesn't seem like all that much. But I'm going to fill it out somehow, and in my opinion, that's another 3 years left to decide. So, I don't know, I'll just stumble along for now, quite happily, but as blind as I am as to where I want to be in the future, that slide should have changed. As blind as I am as to where I want to be in the future, I have a fantastic idea of the kind of people I want there with me. Because it's the people who we surround ourselves with that shape our lives. And so tonight, I urge you, find yourself 1 or 2, maybe 3 great people, and that should be really easy in this room. Sit down with them and talk, and really think about where you think you might like to be in 3 years' time. Or just go and get pissed. Thank you very much.